Hut hut. Let's party.
Look at you, man, looking all big and handsome and young.
Oh man, I appreciate that, Lee. I appreciate that. How you doing?
I'm good, buddy. I'm good. Welcome to the Hut Hut podcast. Give me a little hut hut.
Hut.
Yeah, my guy. Well, listen, man, Jake Witt, offensive tackle, Indianapolis Colts, did a little combine time with us. Obviously, you did most of your training up north, but agent sent you down here just for a little skill work, and it was awesome to get to know you, man. You are an absolute avatar creature. I called every resource I had in pro football and said, man, listen, I got this dude down here. You need to check him out. And, of course, these guys, they have people call them all the time and they're in the middle of the season and this and that. And then all of a sudden it was funny. You go out there to Central Michigan and my phone blows off the hook. And I try to tell everybody, I tried to tell your asses months ago, you wouldn't listen. No, now everybody knows. So good for you, bud. Let's just talk about your life a little bit. So let's start in middle school. You're in a place that I've never heard of.
Yeah.
The peninsula.
Yeah. Yeah, Upper Peninsula, Michigan. Grew up, born and raised up there. A small, tiny little town. A population of 150 probably in my hometown. Grew up. My class had 16 people in it. So you knew everybody basically in the whole school, K through 12. I was a big outdoorsman, still am. I was a huge fisherman. It's probably still my biggest hobby to this day. And, we had to take advantage of all those outdoors up there. So basically, I grew up a basketball player and an outdoorsman. Those are my two things that I did. I didn't get introduced to football until high school. We played 8-man football up there. And, I played 2 years of that. And that kind of got me kickstarted, in that football direction.
That's crazy. So you Upper Peninsula, Michigan, which once again I had zero knowledge of. I'd heard of it here and there, but once I met you and started really digging into it, it's just, it's pretty cool. Talk about a small town that takes to a whole nother level, right? And then you add the snow and all the elements of that part of our country, and so it's definitely a different childhood than most people are used to, especially down here in the South where I'm at. And then boom, you finally get introduced to football, and maybe it's real football, maybe it's not. And then you go to college. So did you just play basketball when you started college though, right?
Yeah. So I played those 2 years of 8-man football. I was a wide receiver in high school. Opted to play basketball, right out of high school. Played 1 year at Michigan Tech, power forward, played that. And then I just decided, number one, I wanted to study something that the university there didn't have. And number two, I didn't want to play basketball. I thought, I like lifting weights, and I couldn't get I was 245 playing basketball. I couldn't get much heavier than that. I wanted to, but it wasn't feasible. And I wasn't really vibing with basketball anymore. So I transferred to Northern. I didn't play anything that fall, which would have been 2019, transferred to Northern Michigan. Then COVID hits in the spring. I walk onto the team, but obviously we don't play or do anything for a full year. We just practice. So I think we got 16 practices in for that full calendar year. Finally got to play, tight end for one season, which would have been 2021. Played tight end for a year. Had to switch to tackle mid-game at the end of that season, which is kind of what got me introduced to playing tackle. I played right tackle for 3 games that year, and then made the full switch to left tackle for my last season at Northern, which was 2022.
What did you weigh walking onto the field of your last college football game?
My last college football game, walking out of the field, I was probably 280. I was light.
And what did you weigh when you walked into Triple F Elite Sports Training 5 months later?
5 months later,
heck, it was the next week. I mean, what was it? A few weeks later.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, we were early on. We were there in January, so I think I was walking into your facility, I think somewhere in the range of like 293, 294, somewhere around there.
That's awesome. And what are you weighing right now?
Right now, I'm about 95. After I had the surgery on my hip, I lost a few pounds. I was up to 308, so I was getting up there, but just to get the weight off my hip and the recovery, lost a few. So I'm about 95 right now.
How'd you feel at 308? You still felt good? Felt like you could move?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I felt great, felt strong. Didn't feel like I lost much quickness or burst at all, which is Great. So I want to eventually play at that 310 range. I felt really good at that range and kind of feel it out at that weight.
Like I said, bro, you're an absolute freak show. You could play at 380 and be fine. What it's just for people out there. So I get a call from a young agent. He's like, "Hey man, I have this kid up here, Jake Witt. He's this and that." And I'm thinking, "Oh Lord, somebody's going to walk in here and it's going to literally give me heartburn trying to teach this kid how to, get in a 3-point stance or actually play real football and blah, blah, blah. Northern Michigan, the whole deal." But I had this weird feeling. And obviously I was, off the field for a short time there and starting the company. And I realized quickly, like, hey man, like you need to take them all. And as you learn how to be a businessman and grow and down the line, if you want to start hand selecting people, fine. But right now, take them all. There's a reason God put this person in your life. There's a reason this agent's calling you. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to go. And then you walked in this place, bro. And I was like, I started calling everybody. I'm like, man, listen, this dude, like I've never seen anything like this in person. And I played pro football for a long time. So God has gifted you, my friend. You're an absolute animal. Obviously, played in that league a long time and got a lot of connections, especially O-line coaches, based off of the fact that I was a tight end that actually enjoyed blocking people. So all those guys were high on you. Now you're officially with Sperano in Indianapolis. So how did it feel? It's one thing being in here with me and doing some combine stuff and, me telling you this and telling you that and trying to help you as much as I can in 2 or 3 weeks and then over text messages. And, you were a fart in a dang whirlwind as a basketball, COVID walk on, football, tight end, tackle. Now, oh my God, I can't be 280 in the NFL. I got to gain weight and train. And it was a crazy time. I can only imagine. I mean, I remember how crazy it was for me, and I was projected to get drafted. So I didn't have to gain any weight. I played tight end my whole college career. I go to the combine, I get drafted. Like it was bananas. And then I start thinking about your journey, and I'm like, holy moly. So once you finally got into spring practice, OTAs, all of that, and you really saw these professional athletes move around and the defensive linemen and the guys you knew you were going to have to deal with if you wanted to stay around for 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 years. How did it feel those first few days, man, once you were at that level from a Northern Michigan tight end, converted tackle / just trying to figure it all out?
Yeah, it was an adjustment for sure. I think when I was down there working with you for the little bit of time that was big for me because I kind of realized what I needed to work on to get to that level. You had obviously seen it and played it for many years. So when I got there, I trained that all. I was a better football player, a better offensive tackle, a much better one than I was the previous fall. When I stepped, foot on the field down here, I trained a bunch and I got here, it was definitely an adjustment. I'm like, wow, these guys they're flying around. They're all the strongest guys I've played. They're all the biggest guys I've played, the quickest guys. Every single attribute they had was, to the max level that I had ever seen. Right. So it was a huge adjustment. It took me a week or 2 or 3, but I started to get the hang of it and I started to realize, like I belong here. Right. I started to, get a bit of confidence in my technique as I started to rep it more against these guys. And, they're all crazy athletes, best in the world. But I started to realize like I belong here and, I'm here for a reason. And once I had that mindset, it was a lot easier for me to go out, just focus on what I needed to focus on. And, things started to work and fall into place.
I love it, man. Well, listen, here's the deal. Like, you are gigantic. Your arms are 8 foot wide, and you are a genetic specimen. So it's like, if you just figure out the football part, hell with the athletes. Nobody's going to out athlete you. It's just going to be the technique stuff. And Sperano will get there like we talked about. And then once you start building confidence in yourself, like you already are, the first time you block that, Pro Bowl player, and you're like, ooh, all right. And then you have a game, and the Pro Bowl player doesn't get a dang sniff all game, and then it becomes just this mental warfare of, man, I was struggling so bad to believe in myself and know I belonged here, to good luck freaking beating me. And then once that happens, it's a lot of fun, dude. And you're going to get there based off of the human being you are and the talent that God gave you. But you can just do things that most 99.9% of human beings and 90% of NFL football players can't do. So just listen to Coach Pirano, that crazy little sucker, and get the football stuff. So I got a text the other day from my man Ike, one of my all-time favorites. I'm sure he's big brother and you pretty good. Ike's the best.
Yeah, he's good. He's great. He's my locker buddy, actually. He's got the locker right next to me now.
That's awesome. Talk about outdoorsman and just a great man of God, great husband, he's the kind of guy so I call it the Lee Smith trifecta. You ready? Would I let you marry my daughter? Would I trust you in a bar fight? And would I want you as a teammate? Not many dudes throughout my career met all three. There's plenty of dudes that I would let marry my daughter, but I sure as hell didn't want to in a bar fight with me. There's plenty of guys I wanted in a bar fight with me, but I sure as hell wouldn't let them marry my daughter. Mm-hmm. So you, Ike, there's a select few guys throughout my career, and obviously now that I'm combine training and getting to hang out with some younger guys that I didn't actually play with, I just got to help get there. You and Ike, man, the fact that you are together and you both meet the trifecta. There's not many guys on that list, my friend. Not many.
No, I appreciate that. No, Ike's a good dude. He's obviously a veteran player now, and for him to come in, and land here with us this season it's great for me. Obviously, great guy to be with, learn from, and just ask those, for me to be able to ask those questions, as a rookie to a veteran player, that you can talk to about those things is that's huge. And like you said, he's just a great dude all around, and great family man. Never speaks poorly about anything, always positive. So he's a great guy to have my locker next to, and I really enjoy him.
Yeah, follow that sucker everywhere, man. Like if he gets in you're a little banged up right now, healing, but if he gets in the cold tub, follow him in it. If he's getting a massage, ask the massage therapist to come to your house next. If he's whatever he's eating, order the same thing. Like seriously, follow him around everywhere. He's been there, he's done it. He's been around success. He's been around a lot of great players, and I'm not going to put you in any uncomfortable positions because I've been a player before, but you're on a team with a first-year head coach, correct?
Yep.
You're on a team with a first-year quarterback, right? There's been a lot of turnover ever since Andrew Luck retired abruptly, and you just don't know what you don't know. A lot of people are trying to figure it out, man. You don't know, just like me as a business owner here at Triple F. I don't know what I don't know. All of us think we know what we want to do when we become a head coach, or when you're a quarterback, when you get to the NFL, it's going to be this way, but everybody's learning together. So times are going to be uncomfortable. Times are going to, happen that you don't know how to handle or what to do. Just follow those vets around everywhere they go. Everywhere they go, follow them around and pick their brain. But you already know that. Hell, you're smart. I ain't telling you if you don't know. So when did you bang up your hip? Was it training camp?
Yeah, training camp. Second week training camp. And it was just an injury on a basic drill, basically is what it was. So, it was something that I usually wouldn't have had to get surgery on, but in this specific case, the way the injury was, it wasn't going to allow me to play, to my potential. And we all made that decision just to get the surgery and get me to 100, learn the game mentally. This year's a big thing for me. And just learning all that, the ins and the outs, the X's and the O's, and then, train the physical part of it all over again here this spring and summer, and come back in the fall, ready to roll.
That's awesome. And the good Lord always has a plan. You just never know what it is until down the line. But good. Well, not good that you're banged up, but I agree with you, man. Because you are so big and so talented, there's some injuries on the O-line, things get weird. And then you're thrown out there before you were ready. Once again, you start going to the mental warfare. And now I love your outlet, man. And I love that you got to make a group decision with the coaches, with the trainers. Everybody was on the same page, it sounds like, which is always great, because when you have that injury that coaches want you to do this, but you want to do that, and your agent's in your ear, and, the trainers are in the middle, and it's just a disaster. And it happens all the time in that league. So it sounds to me like everybody was on the same page. Get your butt mentally locked in, learn how to, look at pro football defenses and understand why things are moving so fast and moving around, and ask the vets questions and be in the room and just soak up all the football knowledge. It seems like what they want you to do, and then get your big ass healthy, get back to 310 and come back with a much higher football IQ, it sounds like, which you're in all the meetings, huh?
Yep. In the meetings, do my rehab, in the morning. I go out, watch practice. I'm in the meetings, the blitz meetings. I'm in the practice review meetings, the offense meetings, all that stuff. So it's all great learning. I watch the film. I'm in the playbook and trying to do everything that I can to simulate being somebody that's playing in that week. It's just I'm not actually doing the physical playing. I'm just trying to do the preparation as much as I can and getting that routine as well as just learning. So yeah, I'm doing everything that I can mentally as well as physically rehabbing this. So it's been a good process, but obviously wish I could be out there playing, but it's all part of the plan, like you said. I mean, everything happens for a reason.
100%. 100%. And it's going to end up being a good thing, man, because you didn't have enough football experience, right? If you'd had the football experience, I promise you wouldn't have been a 7th-round draft pick, right? You would have, yeah. So, like I said, because they don't create creatures like you here on planet Earth every day. So now it's like maybe it was God's plan of like, hey, man, I'm not going to throw him to the wolves till he's ready. Let's get his football IQ up and get him around pro football, since his only football experience was at Northern Michigan, like a fart in a whirlwind, didn't know whether to shit or go blind. And then now, boom, because pro football is a little different, huh? A little take some extreme brain activity, and the minute you flinch, man, you lose.
Yeah.
So your IQ getting raised and being with a great coach like Sperano and them boys, and having some vets around you, and getting to be like I said, a first-year coach, first-year quarterback, it doesn't get any harder than that. It just doesn't. And everybody's uncomfortable. Everybody's trying to figure each other out. So you're getting the full NFL experience. Injuries, first year this, first year that. So good for you, man. Well, how do you like the city of Indianapolis? You like living there?
I love it. Yeah. Obviously, there are a lot of destinations I could have landed that are completely different from what I grew up in, right? And for me, the transition from where I was coming from to where I am now was a lot more than just the location, right? It was going to be a whole different level of football. It was going to be a whole different mental learning curve as well. And I think landing in a place like Indy, where it's similar to where I grew up, but it's a good distance away, where it's something new. Yeah, I'm able to live on the outskirts of town, so I kind of have all the outdoor stuff that I want to do there still, but I'm a short 13-minute drive from the facility, so I love it. It's a great landing spot for me. I love the city. The organization is fantastic, the teammates. So I'm just super happy that this is the place I ended up. But no, Indy's great. I love it here.
That's awesome, man. You don't get to pick who drafts you, right? Like, you get drafted, that's where you're going. I tell people all the time, it's almost better to be a free agent than a 7th-rounder. You can kind of pick a team that you feel like you fit better, and put your agent to work, and plus signing bonuses for some of these free agents that are top priority guys, which you would have been. Your phone would have been ringing off the hook based off of the phone calls I was getting. But the fact that you did get drafted, which we'll talk about next, is awesome. And just kind of one of those storybook endings to your whirlwind of basketball, peninsula, 8-man football, to tight end, to tackle. But I'm glad that you got drafted to a place that you love, and it's good for you, and that you have people that believe in you and they're fired up about your future there. It's awesome. So let's go back to that. You first time I met you, you couldn't have been more just eager to learn and be a part of this pro football deal. And I've never been around a guy that was just so hungry. And I've also never been around a guy that was so starved either, to be honest with you, if that makes sense. So the fact that it was both, and you were like, no matter what I said, I could tell you were just soaking it all up. It was freaking awesome, man. It was one of those memories and times that I will never take for granted. But none of us truly knew if you were going to get drafted, yourself included, your agent, me. I mean, if I had to bet my life on it, I would have said, yeah. I mean, anybody that was, in person at Central Michigan's pro day is going to be begging their teams to draft this kid. He can do things that other human beings can't do. And I keep kissing your ass about you athletically, but once again, get obsessed with football, and then it'll be game over. But how did it feel when you got drafted, based off of everything that happened from the beginning of 2022 football season to you getting your name called, Was your family with you? Did you have a little small party? Like, give us the setting, man, because you're, like I said, you're one of those storybook guys. Your story's wild.
Yeah, yeah. No, we had a little family gathering. We were in Lower Michigan, and I had my grandparents there. I had my aunts and uncles, my mom, dad, my sister, and bunch of cousins, and then some of my closest friends. So just everybody that had been there since early on in my life was all there. So it was all a bunch of very special people to me. And like you said, it was starting with the 2022 season. Starting that season, basically I've never playing offensive line before. Went through that season, finished. If you would have asked me at that point, you're like, are you going to get drafted? I would have probably said no, right? And you look at, you always made jokes about it, but like, we were playing in the largest wooden dome. Our film was crackly, fuzzy, right? You could barely tell what was going on in some of that film stuff. So it was just a different environment up there, different level of football. I didn't have much experience. So I was coming to you kind of, I needed everything, right? I needed somebody. Coming to you was perfect. I mean, I talked about it with my agent multiple times, but it was just an amazing experience for me, just football skill wise, as well as being able to meet you, have you as a mentor. And I probably learned as much about life, and then just the ins and outs of pro football. I probably learned just as much, if not more, of that versus the skill set when I was down there with you, which I thought was so incredibly valuable. So I appreciate you for that. And I think going down there, yeah, it kind of opened my eyes, and you put some confidence in me that like I really could go out and do this, right? Because nobody that I had trained with or been with before had spent as much time as you in the NFL or seen as many guys. So to have you, kind of tell me that stuff that other people could tell me as well, but to have you tell that to me was kind of a different level of, it gave me some confidence, gave me some motivation. And obviously I was trying to take everything in that I could from you. So yeah, we went through that whole process. That was kind of my motivating factor right there. Went through that process. We had the draft party, and day 3 was crazy. I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know if I was going to get drafted. I didn't know if I'd be a UDFA pickup or what would happen. You never know. So day 3 rolls around. Before the drafting rounds, like before round 5 even began, I got a few calls and texts from some various coaches and scouts, and they were saying, "Hey, we have this amount of picks today. I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna pound my fist on the table, try to get you." So I'm like, okay. I didn't really know what to think of it all. It was all a whirlwind. And then my agent was telling me stuff as well. And yeah, we just went through the day. I was super stressed, not gonna lie. Like, I was sitting there, I didn't know what was gonna happen. Every phone call that came in, I'm like, is this it? And then yeah, rolled around. I picked up my phone, and Indianapolis Colts was said in all caps on my phone. So I'm like, this might be it. Picked it up. They transferred me to Chris Ballard, our general manager, and then Coach Steichen. And yeah, it was crazy. It was a huge relief after that. And it was funny. We had a celebration that night. And I remember going to sleep thinking, like, I was super pumped and excited, but I went to bed that night thinking, man, this is where I got to focus up and learn. I enjoyed it, and I'm still enjoying it, but I knew at that point, like, there's nothing right now to celebrate about because I have to go out and do all the work. So that's where my mind was at. I went in the rookie mini camp after that, and like we talked about, just started learning the game more and stuff. But it was crazy, adventure. And yeah, like that draft day was insane.
That's awesome, man. I had a wife and 2 kids. Alicia was pregnant with Brock, our young one, little wild redheaded dude who was running
Oh yeah,
around
yeah.
here. And so we just had a little family party at my house based off the fact that I was married with kids. Obviously, if I would have been single, it would have been a much different deal. But yeah, I mean, there's just something special about when you hear your name called. And I was outside playing wiffle ball with Brody, my older one. Like I said,
Mhm.
Amanda was a baby and Brock was cooking. And I hear Alicia in there screaming. And it's a moment that we'll cherish forever. Your family will cherish forever. Um, it's not many people in the history of planet Earth get to be one of those names called, man. First round or 7th round. It's a cool deal. But that's why you're going to make it, man. Because one of the things that highly successful people and driven people struggle to do is enjoy wins. because immediately when you accomplish something, the only reason you accomplished it is because you're so driven and unwilling to fail. And then you accomplish it, and based off of your wiring, you immediately shift to what's next. And that's why you will be so successful. But just keep grinding, man. That first Pro Bowl you make, or that first start you get, or the first time you're active on game day, like every single one of those first time moments from the old guy in football years anyways, that looks back, I wish I would have enjoyed the moments more instead of what's next. Now, that's why you're going to be successful. Don't get me wrong. Hey, guess what? Putting on a dang jersey on Sundays ain't enough, Jake. Starting ain't enough. Getting paid ain't enough. Like the most driven dudes in the world, they just keep going. But there's got to be some balance, man. And you got a bright future with the way your brain works and the way you're wired. But promise me right now that all those first time moments, you'll enjoy them more than I did. Just give me your word on that.
I promise you. Yep. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take what you just said. I'm gonna promise you that.
Yep, good, because you'll be thankful you did later, because there's only so many times you dress out for the first time. There's only so many times that you run out of that tunnel as a starter with them calling your name and the smoke's blaring, and the fans don't cheer very much because you're not the quarterback, but they, when the starters get announced. And it never got very loud when I got announced. I had to wait for all the guys behind me. Then it got real loud, like freaking Lee Smith, God almighty. He's horrible in fantasy. Why is he starting? But it's awesome to run out of that tunnel as a starter. It's, I never made a Pro Bowl, but I've been with my dear friends when they make their first one. That first time you get a big contract where your life's changed financially, like all those moments. I feel like the only one I ever truly, truly relished in was the first time I got paid in Oakland. And it was all because I knew my family was taken care of. It had nothing to do with me. So I look back and I'm like, dang, man, like I worked pretty stinking hard, and I try to do things the right way and lead people and love people and be a good man. I should have given myself a little more credit at times and enjoyed the moments that I earned by working hard. So if you give me your word and you do it, it'll be worth it that I didn't.
Yeah, no, you've got my word.
You kick Ike in the nuts next time you see him.
No, I'm gonna probably see him tomorrow morning. I might have to.
I love it. So obviously today's Tuesday. It's your off day. Everybody, NFL schedules come in Monday, watch the film, recover, see if your body's broken as bad as you think it is. And then Tuesday, get off. Obviously, Big Jake ain't getting off. He's recover year round. So what's your, are you jogging? Are you ultra G-ing, pull treadmilling? What are you doing right now?
Yeah. No, I started on Ultra G about 3 weeks ago. And then this past week I've hit 2 just normal treadmill sessions, got up to 10 miles an hour. So that's a big step for me in the recovery. We can start to kind of ramp that up, just 100% body weight. Moving to that stuff, I started lifting, squatting and deadlifting about 3 weeks ago as well. So we're moving up in weight in that. But yeah, we're back to basically getting back to normal running, normal lifting, which has been really nice.
I love it, man. Yeah, I'm not going to go too much into your recovery. I don't need the Colts trainers sending me hate mail about releasing private information, but good. You're moving around. I love it. That's awesome. What's your plan for the off season? Did you do a 12-month lease up there?
I have a 12-month lease here just because I'll have to come back, get officially cleared, 100% cleared. I have to rehab until I'm 100% anyways, and then continue to stay on that, proactive rehab. But I was planning on for a little bit of period, probably I have a fishing trip planned actually beginning of February down to Florida. Going to go hit that. And then after that, probably see family for a little while. And then I haven't made any specific plans training wise, except for I was going to be in Indianapolis for a while just to be with the, facility with the trainers, all that. And, tried to catch up on the guys that had played this year, but I haven't made any plans that far out for the off season just yet. But
yeah, it's crazy. Like it's the balance of this is the wildest year of your career. Nothing will ever touch this. I mean, it's just your rookie year. You don't know anything. That you got combine training and you're drafted, and then you're unlucky and get banged up, and so you'll slowly figure out how to handle your off seasons. I always took a big hunting trip after every year, kind of like you're going fishing. Yeah, sure, you haven't been playing, but sometimes the mental anguish is worse than the physical. right? Like rehabbing from an injury is not fun. It hurts. It's painful. You got milestones you're trying to meet. Trainers are, blah, blah, blah. So you're equally as wore out mentally and physically as the guys playing. You just might not be in as much pain on Monday mornings. But it's a crazy year, man. And I would advise you just find that balance of making sure that you're in Indianapolis, so they can see you, smell you, all those things. Stay fresh on their mind. Jake Witt's back, baby. Don't forget about me. Don't be drafting the tackle in the first round. I'm here. It's a crazy game you got to play. If you're out of sight, you're out of mind. And then at the same time, man, here and there, get your ass out of Indianapolis. So it's like finding that balance. Go fishing, go see your family. You're always welcome here, but what you need to be great. You got Sprono in town. You got all your vets now. You have far more resources than just me, like you had how many ever months ago when you walked in my gym knowing nothing. Now you got all these other resources, and some of them know more than me, right? So use all those resources. Stay around the guys, but try to slowly over the next few years find your Jake Witt routine. And then that way, when the offseason comes, you know exactly what you got going on. Speaking of your Jake Witt routine, guess what impacts that routine more than anything? A lovely lady. Is there any in your life?
I do, yeah.
Uh-oh.
I do, yeah.
Indianapolis girl.
No. Actually, we've been together for 3.5 years. Lives in Wisconsin.
So, of course, you already told me that. I was just on the podcast with Jacob Warren. Remember Jacob that would come in, the Tennessee tight end? Did you get to meet Jacob at all?
Yep.
So I did a podcast with him the other day. He scored a touchdown a couple weeks ago. Obviously, all the folks here in Knoxville go wild for the Vols. So get them on here as much as I can. So when they're in my facility, it helps Triple F grow, right? Yeah. And Jacob's like a little brother to me. We'll do life together for a long time, just like me and you will. But heck, he's had a girlfriend for years. They're going to get married, and they've been together forever. And I'm asking him if he has a girlfriend. So I'm thinking, man, if his girl watches this, she's going to be thinking, why the hell hadn't he told Lee Smith before that he had a? So now I'm doing the same thing to you. Your girl might watch this and think, well, he did a few weeks training with him. Why is what? So listen, ma'am, out there, I'm the problem. I've been hitting the head too much. I have a horrible memory. So is she in Indianapolis with you?
She's not, no. In her last year of school, up there, So yeah, just one more year of school. She competes for the track team there too, and then after that, we'll see where it all goes.
What event does she do?
She's very good. She's nationally ranked in shot put, so she's a very good shot putter.
Holy moly! So let me get this straight. We got the Avatar Jake Witt, who gets drafted off pure athleticism, who's a creature. Now we got the shot put champion. Now we started having babies, and now shit gets. Oh, sorry, Lord, forgive me. This is a family show, Jake. I'm trying to get better. And then stuff gets super cool, and we go from 7th round to 1st round with Jake Jr. Can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, heck yeah.
That's going to be awesome. All right, man. So, lady in your life, future wife type. I'm putting you on the spot. This is the future wife.
Yeah, I think so.
Does she think so?
I think she does.
I love it. Well, good. Well, once she gets done with college and obviously down the line when y'all get married and babies and all that stuff, it adds a whole nother element. But right now, man, just continue to try to figure out your routine. This off season, go back and forth, and one of these days you'll be a vet, and you won't want to taste Indianapolis soil the minute the season's over until the minute you got to be back for OTAs. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you saw that. You'll see that with all the vets this off season. You'll be back, and it'll be a ghost town. There won't be anybody there. But as of now, I would say go back, man. Go up, say hey to the coaches, show them that you're healthy, show them that you're grinding, check in with the trainer so they know how hard you're working. Because what you don't want is for them to be in a personnel meeting in the offseason getting ready for the draft or free agency or whatever. And it's like, well, how's Jake Witt doing? And nobody damn knows because you ain't been there. Yeah. I got hurt let me see here. I got hurt my 6th or 7th year. I can't remember. I broke my ankle again. Well, I made sure my butt, and I was a vet. I made sure my butt was in Oakland 1 week a month. So hey, coach, how you doing? Hey, trainers, look at me. I'm not just calling them saying, hey, I promise I'm healing and I'm doing good. No, I want them to see me running. I want them to know, all right, our swing tackle's good. Like he's healing, he's healthy, he's good. I mean, that's the big step next year, I'm assuming, is you to be the swing tackle. I don't know your all's roster situation, but if you go earn a spot, good for you. Never look back. But worst case, you're the swing tackle, you continue to grow. So they need to see your butt moving around, healthy, gaining your weight back, and all that stuff. So make sure you show your face. But then you got to get out of there, bro, or else OTAs will come and then training camp will come, and then you'll be in a 2-year vortex that you never took a break, you know?
Yeah.
I dig it. NFL football. Golly, I miss certain parts of it, but I got no interest in going out there and doing that again, buddy. You got it. You go out there and bang your head against the wall, make a bunch of money, build an awesome family, and I'll be sitting here cheering you on. Well, brother, I love you, man. I really do. I'm proud of you. I think it's freaking awesome that you're sitting in that seat with that C on your chest and fired up and excited about pro football. And you're with my man Ike, and you're in a great city that feels familiar to home, and you get to be on the outskirts but still be 13 minutes away. You're definitely not a Miami kind of guy. So how cool is God, man? Just the way everything has happened for you, dude. It's so cool. Fires me up. But if you're driving through or running through or whatever, holler at me, and then heck, maybe I might jump up there and see you and Ike at some point. Don't want to promise it. I got a bunch of my old former teammates on my head right now, so I got to make a couple other trips first. But at some point, when you dress for the first time, my butt will be there as long as I don't have something crazy going on. I want to be there for that moment and make sure you keep your word and enjoy it.
Yeah, no, man, I appreciate that. And I'm gonna definitely come down to see you this off season, at least for a week. That'd be a lot of fun. Get down there, hang out, do some training. That'd be a good time. So I'm gonna definitely swing down there, whenever that is, and I'm looking forward to that. That's for sure.
I love it. You can help with some of our combine guys, and we'll work on them together this year. Now that you know a little more, and we'll party with them.